Hi guys, this is Aidan Broussard, and this is my podcast. We're going to be exploring Walter Lee and how I think that he had the right idea of bringing a better future for his family, but the way he executed it was terribly wrong. And we're also going to be talking about the relationships and connections within the family. As I said in the beginning, I think Walter Lee had the right idea, but he executed it wrong. His idea behind his investment with Willie is to get a better future for the family and to bring them out of poverty, which is always a good idea, but he's just dreaming too hard. He's trying to change his life too rapidly. And through all this change, he hurts the family in the process. One big thing that Walter does that is not good for the family is he's focusing on the future more than the present. He forgets about the needs of his family that are right in front of him, living in his house. This is seen in the scene where Ruth is trying to tell Walter that she's pregnant and she's thinking about aborting the baby, but he can't seem to care. All he is focused about is on the money from the check. One conversation in the movie that really stood out to me was at the bar between Walter Lee and his mama. Walter Lee asks her, "Why did you leave the South?" And her reasoning was to make a better life for herself, which is the exact same thing that Walter Lee is trying to do throughout the story. He's just doing it the wrong way. One of those wrong ways is being how he was greedy and selfish when he took the money from his sister and tried to invest that money as well. Another key idea that I saw in the story is that Walter feels like he's invisible. He has heard screaming multiple times at his family, "Is anyone listening to me?" Things of that nature, and he's trying to make his name pop, trying to make a name for himself. One interesting relationship I see is between Mama and Walter. Mama is sort of his teacher when it comes to like his mindset and things he holds to great value. One thing we see a lot throughout the story is Mama comparing Walter Lee to his father, who is Mama's husband, before he died. In Act 3, Scene 1, she says, "Son, I come from 5 generations of people who were slaves and sharecroppers, but ain't nobody in my family never let nobody pay him no money." That was a way of telling us he wasn't fit to walk the earth. She says this when Walter is thinking about selling the house because of Mr. Lindor's offer. She believes that he has lost his manhood and is backing down to the white man. She also says in Act 1, Scene 2, when Walter is told that Ruth's going to abort the child, she says, "I'm waiting to see you stand up and look like your daddy and say we done give up one baby to poverty and that we ain't going to give up another one. I'm waiting." Here she compares Walter to her deceased husband again, saying Walter's not as much of a man as he once was. Benethia, his sister, also says something about Walter's manhood. She says that it has died after Willie has run away with their money. But he eventually proves them wrong by not selling the house to Mr. Lindor. A connection that I also see is in Act 2, Scene 1. Walter gets drunk and he comes home, and George, Benethia's boyfriend sort of thing, is calls him Prometheus. Prometheus is a titan in Greek mythology, and he's known for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to humanity. I think that this represents the money that Mama gave to Walter, and the fact that he stole the money from Benicia and he gave it away. Also, at the end of the play, Mama says, "Like a rainbow after the rain." This quote embodies of what Walter did at the end of the story. The rain was the fact that Willie stole all the money that they had gotten from the insurance payment, and it is all gone now. But the rainbow is Walter standing up to Mr. Lindor. So I think that in this entire story, Walter has a lot of character development. He had the right idea, as I've said before, but he just executed it wrong. But he eventually realizes it, and he sticks with his plan to stay at the home that they are in.